So I sit here after a long couple of days with a nice cup of tea, and I thought I would talk to you about something that many people might get confused by, because it doesn't matter how clever you are, you may not know all of the rules and the laws about consumer law. So yesterday I was placing an order on GoPro for a mod housing for my GoPro so I can connect an external mic to it so it's got better sound. And then I realized that it hadn't added to the cart the little light that I also wanted. And for some reason I thought it was in the cart. It wasn't. Anyway, long story short, it wasn't in there. The order was placed late last night, which is outside of business hours. I know that because I tried to contact support to say, just to flag this up straight away, this hasn't added to the cart and I wanted it in the cart and I wanted to add it and pay for it and whatever. It was out of hours, so they wouldn't take the support request. First thing this morning, on the dot, like calling the doctors for an appointment, I was straight on to support with GoPro and say, hey, this hasn't shipped yet. Can you please edit the order so I can spend more money with you to add this to the order? They said, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. Now, I really don't like that response because there's always something you can do, especially when this thing hadn't shipped yet. The point of this video is not a rant, it's to warn you about the rules around ordering things online and even ordering things in person, which is a second story I'm going to come back to later in the video. But for this one, they said, nothing we can do. I said, well, can you just cancel it then and I'll place a new order with both items that I wanted to buy? I wanted to spend more money, remember, so this shouldn't really be a big issue. The issue is, obviously, it's a £12 shipping charge. Now, I have no objection to paying shipping because shipping is not free. And so I have no objection to paying for shipping. I just didn't want to pay it twice for two items that were supposed to be, as I thought, on the same checkout in the first place. My bad, obviously. I must have made some human error, or the website cocked up halfway through and just didn't work. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I was asking them, can you please either cancel the order or add this to it and charge my card for the second item? They wouldn't do it. But here's the really odd thing. The suggestion from chat support was that I should contact UPS and tell them to return the order to sender once it's been shipped. But it hadn't yet been shipped. So I don't understand that. Why would they want it to go through the process of shipping and me contact UPS to tell them just return it to the sender? Because not only is that then going to, well, get a van on the road with something that doesn't need to be on the road, but secondly, probably incur cost either to me or to GoPro. But as it happens, it's going to be a cost to me because this was suggested as a solution by the GoPro customer support officer that I should either tell UPS to return it, or I should wait till it's delivered and then initiate a return and get my refund. But here's the catch. That isn't a solution because once it's delivered, I've incurred the £12 shipping fee. If I return it, I will not get back the £12 shipping fee. And this is the point of the video. Many people may be fooled by such a recommendation by the support, say, oh, you can just return it within your 14 days cooling off period because it's ordered online, right? Wrong. Because if they make it clear that they do not refund shipping, and I checked and they do make it clear that they do not refund shipping, then you don't get the shipping back. In fact, you may also be liable for the costs of sending it back. That is, unless it's faulty. Now, this is obviously not faulty because it hasn't arrived yet. If it arrived faulty, that's a different story. If it arrived and it's broken, I would say, hey, it's broken, it's faulty, I'm sending it back and I want a full refund including the shipping fee because it's faulty. If it's just because I've changed my mind and they made it clear that they don't refund shipping, then they don't refund shipping. But many people might be fooled by that, especially if the customer support has told you that that is a quote-unquote solution that they can offer you to receive delivery and then send it back and get a refund. Now, you might hear the words get a refund and think, oh, cool, I get all my money back and I'll just place a new order. Wrong, because you'll still be out this £12 shipping. And then if you want to place a new order with both items, you pay a second £12 shipping, which is no different than me placing another order now for the second item for the £12 shipping that would take to come out. Now I can hear now the keyboard warrior saying, why are you complaining about this in a video? Well, the reason why is because how many people go through, because it can't just be me that have either an error on the system or a human error in the order. It can't just be me that says, can you please amend this order or cancel it so I can place the fresh one with what I actually wanted to order in the first place. I cannot be the only person that does that. And if the standard response from support is just tell UPS to return it to sender or wait till it's delivered and then return it for a refund, I can't be the only person they say that to. But how many of you, let me know in the comments, if they said to you, wait for it to be delivered, send it back for a refund, how many of you would believe from that phrase that you would get all of your money back? Because it's not true. You won't get all of your money back. You won't get the £12 shipping back. Now, obviously, this is not about the £12. It's not a huge amount of money. It's about good customer service, because GoPro reportedly does not have good customer service, because on Trustpilot, they, out of just over 2,000 reviews, they have a 1.3 rating for their website, customer service, and whatever. I don't really think that that's to do with the product, because the products, although they've had some overheating issues, are okay. They're pretty good as far as these little cameras go. But as far as the support goes, I now see why the support doesn't have a very good rating. So, friendly advice, GoPro, if you want to improve your customer support, for someone that wants to spend more money with you on a mistaken order, who's ordered with you for probably at least 10 or 15 years by now. I've had lots of GoPros. I've got the GoPro 3, I had the 4, I've got an 8, I've got a 10. I lose track of what I've got. I've got lots of them. Lots of their handles, lots of their gadgets and gizmos, and I've just ordered this mod. I wanted the light mod, but that is just a warning to you. If you make a mistake, there's no going back, at least not without paying the £12 shipping. The second story I've got for you is a friend of mine that went in person, which is a subtle distinction because, again, many people might be mistaken. Many people might think that you've got the same 14-day cooling off period to return a product to store. You don't, because the 14-day cooling off only applies online and, as I've just discussed, doesn't apply to the shipping fee unless there's a problem with the product. But in person, they said to him, now, in his words, he's not stupid. Now, I know he's not stupid. He's a very senior doctor with a PhD, so he's far from stupid. In fact, probably far more intelligent than me. But he thought that you get this 14-day cooling off period when you go and buy something in person, which is, as I say, not the case. But they did make it clear at the point of purchase. They said, just so you know, we don't accept returns, we only accept an exchange. Now, for me, that required a bit of qualification on their part, because to say no returns, flat out ban on any returns, is unlawful. Because if there's a problem with it, or it's not as described, it's not fit for purpose, it's not satisfactory quality, etc., then you can return it. Within 30 days, you've got the short-term right to reject it within 30 days, if any of those things don't comply with the contract. So for them to say no returns as a blanket ban is unlawful. So friendly advice to Montblanc, you need to qualify the stamp that you put on the receipt to say no returns, because that's not lawful, it's not enforceable. If it's not enforceable, then arguably the entire term no returns itself is unenforceable. A court may twist it to mean no returns if you've just changed your mind, which is what the law permits. The law does permit them to say no returns just because you've changed your mind. It doesn't permit them to say no returns even if there's a fault with the product, because obviously that doesn't make sense, and obviously that would be silly, and so obviously that's not what the law says, and that's not legally enforceable. If you bought something, for the avoidance of doubt, if you bought something and it is faulty, and you find out within 2 or 3 days that it's faulty, you can take it back. There's nothing they can do about it. You have a short-term right to reject. If they don't accept the return, you can go to court and uphold your right, and you'd probably get summary judgment on the basis that they refuse to uphold your statutory rights to reject it within 30 days. And as I recently mentioned to someone else on Twitter, within the first 6 months of something going wrong with the product, it's down to the trader to prove that there was nothing wrong with it when they sold it to you. And after 6 months, you have to prove, so the burden shifts, you have to prove that there was something wrong with it at the point of purchase after 6 months, if that makes sense. I've done lots of videos on this, but I just wanted to raise this because I cannot be the only one, or my friend cannot be the only one, to go through this process of buying something, either online or in person, and just slip up with these little things. So if you're buying from someone like GoPro and they suggest to you, hey, just return it, we'll give you your money back, check the small print, because if the small print says you don't get the shipping back, you don't get the shipping back. Unless you qualify with them in the chat support box or whatever and screenshot it and say, can you confirm I will get the shipping refunded? If they say yes, of course you will. Then if later down the line they say, I'm sorry, no, we don't refund the shipping, you can go to court and produce the screenshot and say, no, they accepted it. So they agreed to refund the shipping, therefore that became a term of the contract. Those have been upheld in court. For those that tell you that that never works and you can't uphold those in court, take it from me as a barrister who has actually been to court and persuaded the court that a conversation between two parties, a verbal conversation, a verbal agreement, became a term of the contract that the court said, of course this was a term of the contract, I believe the witness, I believe that was a term of the contract, I'm upholding it, I'm ruling for you, they've got to pay you the money. So I hope that was useful. As always, I like to share these little tidbits where I find a legal angle that might help you to understand law, help you to avoid these pitfalls. Please smash the like button if this has been in any way entertaining, or useful or enlightening. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell because that really does help my channel grow. And of course, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.